when COVID hit, they put these Group X classes online on an Instagram Live, and anybody was able to go. And it was great. I loved it. I did them as much as I possibly could, and I would have never done that or known what they were had COVID not hit, because they're all in person, and it's just not something I would see myself going to.
So some of this, and I think you're hitting on something else that's kind of changed with COVID and interesting is it, including Strom, like a lot of places kind of went to this home workout model.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so for someone that like doesn't like to go to the gym or do group fitness stuff, this was like a way to engage that felt better.
Yeah. And I think I saw it a lot of people sort of get a lot more into fitness when COVID hit. Honestly, like some of my family members that I would never see working out got like a Peloton, usually like impulse buy, and like they are obsessed with it now.
Yeah. That's a whole interesting phenomenon too. You're right. There's a whole thing with Peloton, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how about, when like you say using a skill or playing a game, as long as it's something that you kind of do, by yourself or on your own. Do you ever get that sense of belonging that we're talking about when you're like using a skill or doing a game or something where it doesn't really have to do with the people that are around or not?
Yeah, I mean, I think it gives you your own sense of like who you are, and like you sort of think about why you're into it, and being good at something is always a nice feeling.
Yeah, so being good at something it is a nice feeling, but why? Why do you think it is? Does that connect with belonging, or is that something else?
I don't know if it's necessary. I don't know if it's belonging, or, I mean, it just sort of reminds me of the whole like purpose discussion.
Oh, for like using a skill or doing something you're good at.
Yeah, it makes you feel, I don't know if it's something else. I don't know. I don't know if it's like the sense of independence or like productivity. I don't know if it's that or if it's belonging. It might be like a combination of them all.
Yeah, I can see. So, are you thinking about like a particular skill that you use or anything like that, or a game that you play that? Are you thinking about something in particular?
I mean, I'm sort of thinking of like I've been recently getting into trying to like do videography and things like that. Like I think I kind of want to go into travel vlogging and things like that. So trying to get into that hobby is a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you're doing that, what's the, is the motivation to like share it with other people or to put it together?
I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I mean, I want to get better at it, and like when I work on something, I'm like pretty OCD about it. Like I want it to be perfect, and I want myself to be proud of it. But then I think the aspect of sharing it with other people and getting like compliments on it and actually getting noticed for it is a huge factor. Like I feel like if you're working tirelessly at maybe making a YouTube channel and it doesn't get views, I think that gets like really exhausting for some people, and it's demotivating and things like that.
Right. But if other people are showing that they like it and you're getting like compliments for it, then, I mean,
You want to keep doing it.
Yeah. Does that feel like belonging then?
Yes, for sure. I would
All right.
definitely say so.
So I can kind of see, so when you were saying it felt a little like purpose, like using the skill and getting better at it feels like you're working towards this purpose, and also the possibility of sharing it with others and that they could be proud of it.
Yeah. I think the other people play a huge factor.
Yeah. Well, was there something about anything about COVID that affected kind of that for you?
Not really, other than like I feel like a lot more activity online.
Mm.
I think a lot more people use the internet now. Not like we didn't before, but
Right. It's a kind of a main way to connect right now.
Yeah.
So are there any other times you can think of, times, places, activities, where you feel a sense of belonging and people aren't involved that we haven't already talked about?
No, not really.
Yeah, I think we hit on a lot of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're almost at the end here. There's a few more questions left, and these are meant to be very broad. So I'm interested in in general, your sense of belonging as it is now and how it was before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And so while these are meant to be broad, they might touch back on some things that you talked about in specifics.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. And they might sound
Repetitive.
yeah, like similar, but just, kind of think about it almost in broad ways.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what, if anything, has changed about feeling a sense of belonging since COVID?
The social aspect.
Yeah.
That I think changed dramatically. I think there's so much different about how we socialize and how often we're able to socialize and things like that. And
how would you describe the change? Like, is it, gotten better or gotten worse?
I think it was almost like it got worse and it's finally starting to get better.
Mm. So thinking back to the first early stage of COVID where there was the quarantine, and then as it's slowly been reopening, it's changed for you then.
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, like I really do think there were a lot of like beneficial things about the whole quarantine part of COVID.
Mm-hmm. So kind of thinking overall then, like, do you think you feel a greater sense of belonging since COVID or less of a sense of belonging since COVID?
I feel like it sort of like came in waves for me. Like it really depended because like when I went home and back to New York, I struggled a lot with like the whole COVID situation. I just wanted it to be over. Like it just felt like it was dragging on, especially fall semester. But and my sense of belonging sort of like, I guess, definitely decreased. Like I wasn't sure what I was doing with myself, but now I feel like overall I have a better sense of belonging because I got to know myself better. I got to build relationships with family members that I wouldn't have gotten as great of an opportunity to. And I think a lot of people sort of don't take as much for granted now. Like you appreciate little things like going out to eat and being able to go places without a mask and things like that. Like I think it opens people's eyes to that type of thing. So
you're talking about like an appreciation for that stuff now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just didn't think I don't think anybody would have ever expected this to happen, but now that it did happen, I don't know, people realize that they took like I said, things for granted. I don't know.
Yeah. So it sounds like your sense of belonging has kind of fluctuated, like from the very beginning. You talked about going home. I'm guessing to your family, or your parents in the beginning